When I ask them to sit down, they just sit down. Happens everywhere. And I don't blame you, okay? I don't blame you, it's okay. You're checking me out. How many of you would like to have a video like that? It's pretty cool, huh? And this is just like 30% of my life, actually. I still have to upgrade my video. Hi, Rajan. You got me all emotional, buddy. I was listening to your story and I just forgot what my story was. What an unbelievable thing. You know, it's so true. You know, Nancy said that line so many years ago, you will need a friend, time or money sometime in your life. And we mouth it off to other people. We never take it seriously. We think that's a great punchline to close people. But you never know that can happen. Such a cool thing you said, Rajan. No one is here by accident, right? 25 years ago, I don't know how you were invited to this convention, but this is how I was invited. My sponsor, my friend, called me up and said, "You've got to come to this convention. The guy who is coming has got 6 massive legs." and I was just 20 days in the business. I had no idea what this business was. But I was trying to visualize someone with 6 massive legs. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I really, really appreciate it. And yes, thank you. Yeah. And you know, I did not pay any price or any sacrifice to be here from Delhi to be in Bangalore. Bangalore is my family too. This is my family too. So we are all part of this Network 21 family. We all, you know, Rajan is one of my dearest friends, and so is Anant and Vasanta. So, and all these emeralds. So I would do anything for them in a heartbeat if need be. So no price for that. I want to thank Network 21 for this invite and your incredible leaders. And I also want to tell you, my wife Aarti, she wanted to be here today. She really did. But she couldn't be there because she's ticking off one of her dreams. And I was telling my friends, you know, in the afternoon session that we had 2 kids now, 11 and 13, and they were both born after we went diamond. So they have never seen working parents. They have no concept of jobs. They hate cubicles, you know, etc. So now they're at a stage where they're learning, they're getting into the higher grades. And one of the dreams which we had was we wanted to make education fun for our children. And in India, there is so much pressure for education. There is so much pressure during the examination times. The school sends all the best of lucks and everything. We wanted our children to enjoy during those days. And that's what Aarti is trying to do in their life as they're in the middle of examinations, actually. So I was just talking to them while on the way to the venue, and they were having fun. They were watching a movie or something. So I like that part. And so Aarti said, "Oh, they're doing this." So she's just taking off a dream. And the message she said was, please ask everyone to dream big. Because whatever you dream comes true, if you believe, just like Rajan talked about that. So Rajan, I heard, talked about siestas in Bangalore. I know a lot of you had to make adjustments to be here. I understand that part. I understand. I really, you know, I will not apologize for it, but I will applaud you for that. Great. Fantastic for doing some adjustments in your life to be here. Some of you have traveled long distances. Some of you have traveled long distances. 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. Yeah? Great, fantastic. This is what I tell my guys. Whether you travel 5 minutes or 5 hours or 500 hours, it doesn't matter. You all covered the same distance. 6 inches between your ears. The decision to come here was the hardest one, wasn't it? You kept hemming and hawing, should I go, shouldn't I go, even after the ticket was sold. Even after you held the ticket in your hand, you kept thinking, the cry for help from God, do something so that I don't have to go. We all did it. By the way, so the decision is the hardest part. And that's exactly what it is in this business. The hardest thing to do for all of us is the decision to build it. Once the decision is made, it's about 6 months to 12 months. That's it. So I don't care what adjustments you made. What is important is you need to figure out why you are here today. Some of you might be extremely successful professionally or financially. This business is not about money. This convention is not about making more. The idea of this convention today, you are here to answer only one question. Have I defined success the right way? Is my definition of success correct? Because you need to ask your family if they agree with your definition of success. You need to ask your family, is the price you are paying for your financial and professional success, is it okay with them? Because that's what I found out that day when I went to the convention. When I went to the convention that day, I was 25 years old. 25 years ago, I'm turning 50 in 2 weeks if you do the math. I'm turning 50, 25 years ago. I was sitting in exactly where you're sitting. I was running a multi-million-dollar division for Oracle. $200 million to be precise. Now, IT guys get fired up today. Imagine I was in IT 25 years ago. In the start of that era. And I was in the heart of Silicon Valley. I was at the Oracle headquarters. I had stock options to gazoom. I was senior software manager for Oracle. Headed towards director. The average age of a director at Oracle was 28. I was 25. I had sports car, nice house in the suburbs. I had a team of 30 people with Harvard MBAs working for me. We traveled the world pitching Oracle. I'm so glad I went to that convention. I saw what I saw because my brother is an Accenture, he's an associate there at Accenture in the US. And he was telling me, my friends from Oracle called him, they were chatting on something, Facebook or whatever. And my friend from Oracle said if Amit had stayed with Oracle, either he would have been fired long time back, or he would have to look for a job because the job he did doesn't exist anymore. We used to port Oracle onto different platforms. He said that job is done by a button today. The job I did 25 years for which I got paid a lot of money doesn't exist anymore. Oh, I would have survived like some of you are going to survive. But the fact was I would have to keep surviving for 25 years. So that's where the question comes. Is the price of your professional success worth it? That's the question. And by the way, if you felt dragged to this event, every one of us felt exactly the same way when we came to our first event. This dude, this couple, exactly. In fact, I keep telling Amway, you didn't do 2,000 crores. Amway keeps saying we did 2,000 crores, $9 billion, right? I said, you produced 2,000 crores. We did 2,000 crores. Can you believe a business? This is so amazing. This is so amazing. Amway is celebrating their 60th anniversary next year. Amway is 60 years. If you're a finance guy, 60 years this company has been around. CAGR of 20%. Okay, debt free, doing business in 90 plus countries. It does about $9 to $10 billion of volume. But here's the amazing part. This volume is being done by people who joined the business hating it. Can you believe that? Not one dude joins an Amway business saying, thank you. Not one. We all are like, you're just dragged in. We give hell to our upline. And the same people have been doing $9 billion of turnover every year. The people who hated Amway. Amazing statistics. And Amway guy said, you're right. So how does it work? How can it be? The reason I say this is because if you're feeling that you don't like this business, that's exactly how I felt. How he felt, how he felt, how she felt. All of us felt. So it's not a unique feeling you're going through. Don't put yourself through a tremendous pressure or anything like that. How does it work then? How does it happen? How does it happen that a guy who has a master's working for one of the top software companies in the world drop everything, including his green card, to come to India to build an Amway business? My God, that got to be freaking you out. When half the world is trying to get into America, I remember the face of the visa guy, right? I went to the US consulate to turn in my green card. Exactly. He asked me 3 times, are you sure? I said, about what? He said, you're sure you're going to turn in your green card? I said, yeah. He said, you want to turn in your green card and get a tourist visa? I said, yeah. He said, okay, boom, get out. He was so amazed because he has never seen anyone, a very rare sight for people to turn in their green cards. Now that's the reason I want you to set this thing up in your mind, is because you are not here by accident. Neither was I. There is a reason why you are here. And it won't be clear to you till you get up on this darn stage sometime. So you got to figure out, you got 5-6 hours to figure out what is it you really want. Why are you here? Someone said to me, I was dragged to a convention. I said, you are giving us too much credit. We are not that good. Right? We are not that good, man. If we were that good, we would fill up the darn stadium. You are here because you wanted to come here. I just want to share a little bit of my story with you so that you realize the only reason I want to share this story in this darn video is not to say, look at me and see clap. Not interested. Not interested in claps. The only reason we want to do this thing is so that you can realize that success doesn't require a prerequisite. No talent. Definitely no talent. Lesser the education, even better. That's what my personal experience is, But even if you have, it doesn't matter. Caste, sex, religion, creed, doesn't really matter. I'm from a very small place called Bhilai. Have you heard of this place called Bhilai? Where is it? Google. Chhattisgarh, okay? The only place right after Paris, which everyone wants to go to. No. It's a small, tiny place in Chhattisgarh. The only reason that's there is because of the steel plant. Okay? And growing up, I had 2 diverse backgrounds, actually. My father and mother. My father was a victim of, I don't know what a victim or whatever, but I can't think of a better word right now. But he grew up in the partition era. So because of that, my father lived with his grand maternal uncle or whoever for 18 years of his life. He never spent time with his parents. And my mother, on the other hand, stayed in a bigger city with her parents. Her father was a bank manager, Punjab National Bank. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but that's what it was. But that's what he did for the most part of his life. And so while growing up, I had 2 conflicting views. My mother wanted me to get out of Bhilai, and my father really was happy that we were in all together in Bhilai. So my mother really wanted us to be, to get out of Bhilai, and she thrust down ambition into us, that we wanted to get good education, blah, 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 blah. But one thing was crazy. I would always realize, and this became amply clear when I was going to US, They had no money. They worked hard. My mom was a teacher. My father was an engineer, graduated from BHU and all, but they had no money. We're not poor, we were broke. I wouldn't laugh if I was that in front of my parents, but yeah, that's the truth. And that became amply clear when I had to go to US. When I had to go to US, both the universities, I got admission in two universities, in Texas A&M and Utah State, and both the universities said you need to put up money for the registration of $1,000. And I realized when I went to my parents for the $1,000, they were scratching their heads and doing everything possible. They said, we don't have the money. I said, we've been working so hard. They didn't have the money. So I went to banks. This was in 1990s. I went to the banks asking for money. There was no concept called education loans then. Foreign education loan didn't exist. When I went to the bank and said, can you give me loan? They said, how much does your father make? And I presented all the pay slips, and they said, your father makes too much money. Really, that's what they said. And so we had to put together everything in the house. For spoons and, everything had to be mortgaged to get a loan for $1,000. It was amazing. So when I went to America, I did my master's there in computer science. I did a 2-year course in 1.5 years, not because I was brilliant or smart or anything like that. It's just that I didn't want to wash dishes there for 6 more months. I wanted to get rid of the loan which my parents had, so I got rid of that loan, and I wanted to quickly get a job. And I remember my first job in US was the company called Amdahl. How many of you know this company? Anyone heard this company? All old people. It's a mainframe company. Yeah? It was the second largest mainframe company after IBM. And I remember I had got a job interview with Oracle and Amdahl, and I chose Amdahl, believe it or not. I chose Amdahl because, my God, everyone there had been working for 15 years. They had certificates. They were so happy. In fact, we launched one of the mainframes, and then they took us to Great Park America, the Parkway America, the whole park, like Disneyland in San Jose, California. They booked the entire park. I was so thrilled to have made the right choice. This was November 1991. By December 1992, the company had disappeared. And the vice president called all of us and was telling us the story of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. I had no idea what it was, but it seemed like a bad story. Because we were supposed to throw ourselves a hurl of bullets or something. But that's what I realized. That's my first shake-up in life, where I had all the education which I wanted. I was working with the right company, but I had no idea how technology changed. Zip! For 6 months, they kept us in dark. They even celebrated in Great America Parkway. We were doing right. So nice. Only to know that Amdahl mainframes were gone. The technology was not there anymore. And I found myself 30 days to leave the country or find a job. Because on H-1B, you can only stay there for 30 days if you have a job. That was the first scare, and a doubt came into my mind. What the heck is going on with these formulas, which everyone thinks is cool? But here's the problem. When we get frustrated or disappointed or hurt and all that stuff, we look for solutions within our skill set, isn't it? So I started looking for, I'm not going to get a job, I'm going to become a consultant. Tried that for a few weeks. Realized, it's hard. Plus, you don't have a visa, so you can't stay there. So I had to go for a job. Then I went back to Oracle, started working for Oracle then. But somewhere in there, I had this niggle that says, you are not secure, buddy. It's not secure. It doesn't matter how cool your job is, you are not secure. Ask Snapdeal, guys. I see Snapdeal. The CFO Snapdeal lives next to me. So I was frustrated. But more than that frustration, there was this one particular frustration which I had, which actually made me see the business. It was not the job thing. It was this call from my mother every weekend. My mom would call me every weekend and say, and I would be so proud to tell her how successful I was, only to have her burst my balloon by saying, when are you coming to India? And obviously I had to make an excuse and say, no, I can't come to India, sort of thing. And that I used to hate weekends for that very reason, because my mom would call me and ask me that question, when are you coming to India? And I used to feel, why can't you just let it go? Here was my mother who had never traveled out of Bhilai, never traveled the world. Her son was all the way in America. All she wanted was him to come back to India for a change. And that's one thing I could never give her. And so that used to bother me about my perception of success of myself. So when I ask you, what is the value of the price your family puts on your success? That's what I was talking about. I was successful in the eyes of the world. In 1993-94, if you worked at Oracle, even if you today work at Oracle, you're successful. The world thinks you're doing all right. I had the nice corner office. I had everything going for me, except my mom did not think I was successful. For some of you, it may not make a difference, but for me, it did make a difference, because this was the woman who did everything possible to send me to America. She gave up everything so that I could be in America, and the only thing she wanted, she did not say, bring me to America. She said, when are you coming back from America? Now, you guys think it's so easy nowadays to come from India to America, America to India, right? Back then in 1990s, it was not that simple. So this was this botheration on every Monday, and I would forget about it again. But it was kept thinking. I said, what can I do to get that thing? And amidst all this stuff is when that interesting phone call happens. Right? My friend called my landline and said, are you home? And because he was more intelligent than me, I said, yes, I am. He was a PhD and I was a master, so it had to be replied. But I still remember him asking me that question, are you home? I said, landline pe call kiya to bhaiya aur kahan hoga main yaar. And like any cartoon character, he shows up at my door real quick. And the first thing which I noticed is he's wearing a tie. Now, for some of you, they don't be odd, but for an engineer, a computer engineer, owning a tie is a big deal. Owning a tie is another thing, but how to figure out how to tie a tie is another thing. So my question was, who taught him to tie a tie? That's what my biggest question was when he was showing me the plan. But as he was showing me the plan, one thing very unique about Amway folks is what? Their smile. It goes from this end of the spectrum to the next spectrum, right? It never abates. It never comes down. It never. It's so wide and it's so bright. It's like, stop it. Stop the smile. Right? And the questions, and I think they're taught. I just taught everyone to ask questions. So he was so fresh in the business that he would ask questions. And you heard my story. Just some of the new people said, he asked me a question. He said, if you've got 4 people in a group, how many people are there? I said 4. He said, no, 5, including you. So it's like, he was like, what's going on? He's got a tie. He's asking weird questions. He's a PhD. I'm a master's. What's wrong with this person? And he would get excited with small numbers. If you help so many people, you get like $11. Yes! $11. He was getting excited. I thought he was going to just die or something with a heart attack. $11, $500, $600. And I was thinking, does he know how much I make? Does he really know? And then he said, if you did not understand anything, this is the time to understand. Stop everything. Just understand. I said, okay, I will. And at that point, he was explaining me the 6% bonus. I don't know if you've seen the plan. Have you seen the plan? If you've not seen the plan, just see the plan again, because it's a very interesting part. So he has taken me all the way. My journey in the Amway has started from 0 to I have reached the 21% level and I'm making 50,000 or whatever in the US terms. And then he says, if you've reached the highest level, which is 21%, you get like, for the whole volume, you get 21%. I said, okay, got it, understand, move on. He said, what if you help someone in this team also reach the 21% level? I said, okay. He said, do you know how much you make? I said, no, I don't want to answer your question now. He said, you make nothing. The big smile. And I'm thinking, why is he smiling? I make nothing and he's smiling. He said, you don't make 21%. You know how much you make? You make 6%. I said, okay, 6% is better than 0% for sure. He said, if you did not understand anything, understand that the 6% bonus is the best bonus Amway gives. I'm thinking again, it's crossing my mind. He's PhD in computer science. I'm master's in computer science. I work for Oracle. He works for Hughes Software Systems. And he thinks 6% is better than 21%. And how is that? How can 6% be better than 21%? Right? Can anyone understand that math? How can 6% of that group's volume be better than 21%? But I was tired. I just was tired with the unbelievable math these guys were doing. So I just said, whatever it takes to get him out of the house, that's what I was conspiring. And thankfully, he did get out of the house with a $100 check from me. I was so happy. But in Amway, things don't stop when you give a check, isn't it? They start. So 7th May 1993, I signed up in the business. 8th May 1993, the phone calls start. Now, some of you were lucky you have mobile phones and you know who's calling and you can reject them. But when we had landlines. So I get call every morning and day. You got to come to the convention. Welcome to the business. This fired up. The great convention is coming on 23rd. And you kind of run out of excuses, right? Don't you? Didn't you guys run out? You guys run out of excuses, right, new people? That's why you're here. He's like, whoa, not there. I don't have any more excuse. I'll just come. Okay, I'll just come. I'm just coming. Well, you guys are lucky. It's only one-day event. We used to have 3-day event. So I got a deal with him that I'll come for 3 days. I'll come for only 1 day, half a day. So he said, okay, come for half a day. So we drove all the way from San Jose to Sacramento. I don't know if you know the math in the map of California, but it's quite a ways off. And we went to this place called the Sacramento, basketball stadium. That's where Sacramento Kings play basketball, if you know NBA. Huge stadium, filled quite a bit of capacity. I would say 40, 50,000 people were there. And what does the new person do? New person will never approach the starting of near the stage, right? What do? We walk all the way to the end of the stadium, to the seat which is the farthest from the stadium, closest to the exit sign, at the emptiest row. And that's what I did. I found an empty row completely at the top of the stadium. And I first allowed my sponsor to sit down. I was smart. Because I didn't want my sponsor to sit next to me. Just like your sponsor is sitting next to you, bothering you, isn't he? He just kept looking at you. Every time there is a smart joke which I throw, he said, what? He's like smiling at you, like, you're like, oh, shut the hell up. It's not funny. He's like, everything, right? Amway people smile, everything is funny. And that's why I said, I'm not going to do that, man. So he sat down and I stepped back and I stood next row, the row behind him. And I thought it was empty, but it was not. See how these seats are connected? So as soon as the moment I sat down, my seat started shaking vigorously. Because we were sitting in plastic chairs, plastic molded chairs, right? I'm big. Imagine a guy bigger than me, twice my size. Imagine that guy bigger than me sitting in a plastic chair. What happens? Physics laws. Fat cells find place wherever they can get, right? So this person, no offense, please don't get offended. But that's what happened. This person was cozy in that plastic molded chair. And he was a typical Amway distributor, happy about every goddamn thing there happening. And he just would keep shaking. And he would clap. When he clapped, his arms would move, his body would move, the chair would move, and the whole row would move. And we all would just kind of shake, keep happening. All in the sense, me and that guy. Now imagine you don't want to sit with your sponsor, but here you're sitting to a stranger now, who not only is shaking you up, he's looking at you and saying, yes, smile. Every time I look at him, he smile. Unnecessary friendliness. I don't know why. Not required. We software people don't want friends. Right, software people? You want to stay away from friends. We don't even want to meet our group. We just want to send an email to them. But this guy shook me for 3 hours. Really, he did. I could not do anything. And I was upset. Wouldn't you be upset? You've done everything possible. You've been a smart guy. You've chosen the right seat. Right? You've decided only 3 hours. And then this guy shakes you up for 3 hours. No reason whatsoever. And when I look back, or at least when I look back a few years back, I was trying to figure out why I was upset with this guy. I wasn't shaking. But the reason I was upset was, I was upset with his happiness, actually. Right? The reason I was upset with his happiness was because I could not figure out why was he happy. Right? Because I could not figure out that he was successful in this Amway business. If he was successful in the Amway business, he would not be sitting next to me. He would be sitting somewhere downstairs, right? So this guy was not sitting next to me. He was not professionally successful for sure, because his tie was like this. The behind portion was bigger than the front portion. He was wearing half-sleeve shirts and a tie in which the behind thing was longer than the front thing. So obviously he was dressed to success only in Amway business. Seriously, so he was not professionally successful. He was not Amway successful. Why the heck was he happy? Does it bother you, all good people, all prospects, first-time people? Why are Amway people so happy? Right? Bothers you. But I know why he was happy. He was happy not because someone on stage was getting recognized. He was not happy because someone was succeeding. He was happy because he saw one day himself succeeding. And the reason I was pissed and upset with all my professional and financial success was that with all the success I had, I could not say, yes, Mom, I'm coming to India. And this guy, with all his failures, knew one day he would be able to get up on the stage. So the person sitting next to you who's bothering the heck out of you, he's not happy because I am on stage. He's not happy because Rajan's daughter is all right. He's happy for that also. But that's not the reason. The reason people are successful, are happy in this business is because one day they are hopeful that they will succeed. And I have not seen a single thing so far. I have not seen a single thing so far in my 25-year career which fits the bill. There's always a caveat. But this business, it doesn't matter. Anyone can do this business. And what is the reward? Time, money, and friends. You do figure it out what you want to do with it. You want to travel? You got the money. Travel. You got the time. Stay as long as you want to. You want to make friends? You have friends in every continent in this world. Every country I've traveled in the last 12 months, and I have traveled a fair bit, I have traveled to 12 countries in 12 months last year. And all business class and first class. And I stayed in all the best resorts. But here was one thing unique. Every time I landed in a new country, there was someone to receive me with a smiling face. Someone to take care of me. That's what the reward of this business is. The basic: money, time, friends. Figure it out. What do you want to do with it? And the next story was, once I got so excited about that, this person actually sponsored me. I don't even know who that person was. What did he do with the business? But that's the person who sponsored me in the business. That's the person who got me. And that's why Rajan was saying, don't go. Don't leave the seminar, because you don't know who could be your motivator today. And since you're not here by accident, there must be a reason. So complete the game. I was so fired up after 3 hours, I attended the entire convention, 3 days. I did. The story would be so awesome if I said I got to the convention and I built the business. Right? It would be so fun, like, oh my God. You would get the hope that I will come out of this convention and you will go out and build the business. We can. But 93, I saw the business for the first time in May. I ended the year with a solid 0. 94, I maintained 0. 95, I requalified 0. Half of 96, I was still 0. So you say the business did not work. No, I didn't work. I went to conventions hoping the conventions would do the job for me. I would listen to CDs hoping the CDs would work for me. But I refused to change. What did I not want to change? I wanted to build the business as an Oracle manager. I wanted to build the business with a platform that I had achieved financial and professional success in Oracle, and that's why I should be Amway successful also. And that doesn't work. But I kept going to the convention because I loved the feeling of hope. I loved that feeling. I enjoyed that feeling of hope. But in 96, August 96, I was coming back from the convention, and as I was reaching home, I started crying actually. And the reason I was crying was because I felt guilt for the first time. And the guilt was, I was lying to my mother. Because every convention I would just get excited, tell my mom, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to come home. Every convention. It's going to be done, deal, Mom. It's going to be done. I love my mom. I love my dad. But in 96, August 16, 1996, I realized for the first time I was lying to them. I was lying to my mother because I was not doing what I was supposed to do in this business to succeed. And so I decided that day that I don't care what happens. I'm going to do this business 100%, whatever it takes. And I called my sponsor and said, I want to do this thing the right way. Tell me, what do I need to do? So he gave me steps and all that stuff to do. I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to do it for 1 year. If it doesn't work, I quit. But at least I will be happy quit, not guilty quit. The story would be unbelievably awesome if I said I succeeded. But I failed again in 96. But the only difference between 96 and the prior years was, in 96, I had actually done a whole lot of stuff. I had read a lot of books. I started reading biographies of people. I started reading autobiographies of successful people. I just threw myself under the truck, if you will, of reading. I started listening to CDs like crazy. I just got consumed with success. And so it didn't bother me that I was failing. But I was so fired up that in 1997, I came back to India because I was very confident now. And I came back to India to meet my mother. Remember, I went in 1990. 97 was the first time I came back. But I was very happy that I was doing what I was supposed to do. And about the same time, the Indian market was also opening up, 98. So I came back to India to meet my mother. I met my brother and some of his friends. And they were all excited about Amway, in fact. But I had no intention of coming back to India, actually. I was very sure I was going to do it in India, in America only. But January 1998, when I went back to India, went back to America, I just could not sleep. I just couldn't sleep. I just felt I had to go back to India. So I called up my plan and said, I want to go back to India to build the Amway business. And they said, are you crazy? You have failed in this for 5 years. What do you mean you're going to go back to India and build the business? I said, no, I just felt I want to go back. They said, nope, no way. Finally, in February, I convinced my upline that I'm going back. I had not told my parents that I was coming back because I knew they would be shocked, like they should be. On 8th March 1998, I walked into my boss's office, my vice president, and I said, Tom, I quit. He said, why? What happened? We just gave you stock options. You're supposed to become a director in a few months. He said, no, I'm going back to India. He said, why are you going back to India? I said, I'm going back to India. He said, why? I said, I'm going to do Amway business. And he just almost froze and fell and, he did all those dramatics. But I was convinced. I don't know why I was convinced, but I was convinced. So 9th March 1998, I booked a ticket to India, one-way ticket. Packed up entirely everything. Took 2 suitcases full of CDs and came back to India with $4,000. That's all I had in my account. 9th March 1998. Imagine. How many of you think I was an idiot? You raise your hand. Good. Please go ahead. It's okay. I don't feel bad. I have the mic. You got the series, right? Yes, Prabhu has got some of the series. 1998. After failing 5 years in an Amway business and being on the top of my game in the software industry, IT industry, I quit all that to come back to do an Amway business in a city where Amway didn't even deliver the products. In a city where people didn't understand why do people need a hair shampoo. Really, people said, why do we need a hair shampoo? Why can't we just use soap? With products by the name of Zoom, dish drops, SA8, GNH lotion, which no one cared about. The per capita income of that area was about $100. And the cost at that time to get into an Amway business was $110. So let's understand this thing. I have failed in a business for 5 years. Okay? I have resigned from my job, come back to India to build a business in a city where Amway does not deliver products. And the per capita income of people in that city is unaffordable. They cannot afford the business, forget about the products, which are not delivered. How about that for odds? Is that okay so far? How about if I tell you, in 1 year, okay, in 1 year, we had a network close to 56,000 people. We had broken close to 6 silvers in our business. And within 1 year, by 1998, by 2000, we were filling up stadiums in Calcutta. I had a group size